Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and in today's video we're going to be discussing the pros and cons to being a Sprinter van driver. Now, if you don't know what a Sprinter van driver is and you've ordered from Amazon, that means that's what those things are. So this right over here is a Sprinter van. So this is an individual who's going to be driving packages or different goods from point A to point B in a Sprinter van. Big in the logistics field, and it is a growing demand. Let's get into the pros and cons of maybe why you shouldn't be one. And maybe at the end, you'll be convinced that getting a CDL license is the best option for you because you're doing the same amount of work, but you'll make a whole lot more money doing it. The first pro of actually being a Sprinter van operator is going to be the flexibility. So a lot of times you can just kind of go on different load boards and see the smaller loads that are available for Sprinter vans. You get to pick and choose which way you want to go. So because you have the flexibility, you don't have to get stuck to a 9-to-5 type of job, and you're able to kind of move around. Which brings us to the other one, which is the feeling of independence, right? A lot of Sprinter van operators are going to be independent contractors, where it's just an individual who owns a van and looks for work out there. He's able to pick his own schedule, pick the routes that he wants, and he's able to kind of feel that independence itself. But when you think about the pro of independence, the con of that is going to be you are fully responsible for your future. And if you're supporting your family's future as well, which means if you don't get that 100% right, it's not going to work out in your favor. So it depends on what kind of individual you are. It depends if you are good to have independence to make sure you pick the own decisions that you want. The other reason why a lot of people get into this is going to be the lower startup costs. So usually people who want to get into this like logistics, likes driving, and they're too afraid, or maybe they don't think they have enough money to actually get themselves into an actual big truck itself. So when it comes to the Sprinter vans, it's going to be a smaller vehicle, which means it is going to be less expensive. The biggest difference is actually going to be how the financing works. So because a Sprinter van is normally like a normal car, the financing for a car works completely different than the financing for a truck. You can buy a Sprinter van that can be $100,000 as an example, and trucks can be a lot less than $100,000. So the actual pricing for the vehicles could be pretty similar depending if you buy new versus used and all that stuff. But when it comes to financing a truck, in most cases, you're going to need at least 40% down depending on what kind of background or credit you actually do have. When it comes to a vehicle, like a normal car, I've seen people do a deal with 5%, 10%, 20% down, and it's a lot more flexible. So the actual overall startup cost can be lower itself. Now, because you are driving a smaller vehicle, your expenses are probably going to be less as well, which means like fuel expenses are going to be less, insurance expenses would be less, so on and so forth. But everything has a pro and everything has a con. There's two sides to every coin. Lower expenses also means lower income. Of course, you can make a lot more money driving a tractor trailer simply because you could transport a whole lot more things than you can in a tractor trailer compared to a Sprinter van. So at the end of the day, which one's going to be more beneficial for you? It all comes down to your individual preference. Those are the actual pros of why people get into the industry itself. Now let's talk about most of the cons. So inconsistent of income. So when you get flexibility and you get the ability to pick the jobs that you want, it's not always going to be consistent. And the thing that you have to understand is there's not that many loads out there for smaller Sprinter vans. If somebody's willing to transport a load, it's going to be more for bigger tractor trailers, which has a whole lot more consistency in their routes itself. When it comes to Sprinter vans, you're actually going to have to look and search and hunt for the actual work that you need. So it's not going to be work every single day. So if that's something that you need, which is a consistent paycheck, probably not the best option for you. So there's going to be long hours both in driving a tractor trailer versus driving a Sprinter van. Now, if you're going to be driving the same amount of time, why not just get paid more money for it? It might make more sense to you. The other thing is going to be the physical demands. So when you're driving a Sprinter van, especially those people who drive those Amazon vans, what do you think they're doing every single day? In and out of the vehicle, picking up packages, dropping off packages, and a lot of that in and out stuff, right? So it's not going to be an easy thing. You're going to be on your feet a whole lot, and you're going to be picking and dropping things off. The pro for that could be that you're going to save money and you don't have to go to the gym because you're going to be active. The con is it can get tiring, and at the end of a long day of driving, it's going to be very, very hard. The other con is going to be it's very little regulations on here, right? Compared to an actual CDL license. CDL license, you can only drive X amount of hours, which means you keep safety going. When it comes to the smaller non-CDL vehicle, you could drive technically 24 hours. No one will ever know because there's no logs needed or anything like that. And that can cause a lot more danger for you as well. You got some pros, you got some cons of getting yourself into the Sprinter van business. But my whole thing is going to be, okay, if you're going to be doing pretty much the same amount of work, why not get paid more money for it? So when it comes to everything that we talked about driving a Sprinter van, you can have everything that you just talked about the flexibility if you want, the independence if that's what you're after, or maybe you just want that 9 to 5, getting yourself a CDL license. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be driving the same amount of hours. But the biggest difference is anybody with a normal car license can actually drive a Sprinter van. Anybody who needs a CDL license cannot. Because at the end of the day, these are the facts. Anybody with a normal car license can drive a Sprinter van. And there's currently right now about 80,000 driver shortage in the CDL world. So that means the way the market works, the way money works, is the more valuable you are, that means the bigger problem that you can actually solve. If you're solving a problem that anyone can solve with a driver's license, probably not going to get paid as much as if you're solving a big problem that has an 80,000 truck driver shortage. It's not always an easy thing to get an actual CDL license, but that's why you come to the best CDL school in the country. We try to make it as simple as possible for you, and we help you get yourself a job so you can have all these cons that we talked about taken care of. The biggest con being inconsistency of pay. Your bills are consistent every single month, right? Why not have your pay be consistent at the same time? So one of the cool things about getting yourself a CDL license is that you're going to have a job pretty much for life. And one of the cool things about this industry, it does not matter what your history is, what your background is. Once you get in here with your CDL license, you're treated like an equal. And the longer you keep your license, the more money you're going to make with it. If you're going to be driving long hours, driving a small Sprinter van versus a big truck, you're going to be making a lot more money doing the same exact job, and you're going to feel a lot more accomplished doing that as well. So if you're interested in learning more about getting yourself a CDL license, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Our mission is to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. We have locations across the country, from coast to coast. All you got to do is find a location that's nearest you. If you don't have anything near you yet, contact our Linden, New Jersey office, and we could definitely help you out there. Thanks, and I'll see you soon. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.